Good morning. Just getting started today. I'm already overwhelmed. Got here like an hour ago. Started working on things. I'm already in over my head. Too much, entirely too much to do. Fortunately, weather has calmed down for a few days. Not for long, though. Here's the forecast today. Well, whatever your temperature is right now, whatever it is when you woke up this morning, maybe you got a couple degrees warmer, but they're going to start dropping through the day. They already have started dropping. So temperatures are going to drop through the day. They should be down into the 40s, mid-ish 40s. By dinner time, we'll get down below freezing tonight. Some of you will get into the 20s tonight. Tomorrow will warm up, a little breezy later on today too, which is good because that'll dry up the remaining water on the ground before it freezes up tonight. Tomorrow we'll get to the low 60s, mid 30s for the low tomorrow night. Plenty of sunshine tomorrow. Not plenty of sunshine on Wednesday. That says Sunday. Just ignore that. Just ignore that. It's not obviously Sunday. Like I said, I'm trying to get a lot done today. Kind of in a rush, trying to figure out exactly what we're doing later this week and when we're doing it later this week, and that is becoming a problem in and of itself. So trying to work on that. Anyway, mid 60s on Wednesday and low 40s for the low. Not bad, not terrible. Could certainly be way, 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 way worse. But we should also thank Snowscapes for sponsoring WYCEL this month. Snowscapes, Katie, Andy, tree service. Any kind of tree work you need done, Andy, Katie, and Snowscapes are who you want to call. It doesn't matter if it's basic stuff, routine stuff, or if it's a big job, even a risky or dangerous job. Snowscapes has the crew, the experience, and the equipment to handle it. Just give Snowscapes a call. A link to them is in the description of this WYCEL. Okay? Got it? All right, look, the forecast is just going to be not terrible. That's the forecast for the next 3 days. Not terrible. A little chilly today. Again, temperatures are going to drop through the day today. But we'll warm up a little bit tomorrow. We'll get even a little bit warmer on Wednesday. Plenty of sunshine tomorrow. We'll get some sun on Wednesday too, just not quite as much. There's so much to talk about, but I don't want to talk about it because I've got other things to do. This is the Storm Prediction Center for today. Not a whole lot going on. There is this little bit of stuff off the Outer Banks, off the coast of North Carolina, down Marva, and the northeast coast of South Carolina. That's only because the system is moving out. It just hasn't quite moved out completely yet from here, but that is going to move out. Those risks are going to go away today. This stuff out here is just a lot of precipitation, some gusty winds. Speaking of gusty winds, this area of the country's fucked. I mean, not to be graphic or to overstate things, but they're fucked. We have a massive, massive event that has occurred, is occurring, and is about to break out again down in the high plains and the southern plains. It is going to be, there's no way to state it. It's going to be catastrophic. It's going to continue to be catastrophic. In places that have already burned, obviously there's no fuel for those fires, but there are plenty of places as we get into the upper plains and the southern plains where it hasn't burned yet. It's going to burn, unfortunately. This is a situation that cannot be overstated in terms of its threat, the dangers. This area in here, these are all of this pink here is red flag warnings. Winds of gusting over 100 miles an hour. I can't draw. Regular gusts of 70 to 80 miles an hour. Some gusts over 100. It's just going to be horrendous. The areas that have already burned are not in that red flag warning today. So this area here primarily not under the red flag, but this area in North Texas, western, the panhandles of Texas and Oklahoma in here are just in a bad, bad way. This entire area here, as we get up here from Amarillo north, the panhandle of Oklahoma, western Oklahoma into the high plains, getting up into Nebraska, western Missouri, western Arkansas, not Arkansas, Iowa. It's just not going to be a good day. It's not going to be a good day. Nebraska, Missouri, Iowa, Kansas. It's going to be a rough day today. We're keeping an eye on that. So that is the hazards for today. The Storm Prediction Center for today, again, not much going on. For tomorrow, not a whole lot going on. There is that little threat up there in the northern plains. Not a massive risk. And if we go to Wednesday for the Storm Prediction Center, we see this. This shows a 1, the dark green being a 1. A 1 out of 5 threat. I will say this. I believe that is going to get enhanced. It's just setting up the way that it is. It's just not good. And I am worried about an outbreak on Wednesday. Nothing, let me repeat, nothing like we just saw over the weekend. But suffice it to say, there's going to be some issues. And we're going to keep an eye on that. Much of these areas that are under this threat for Wednesday, let me get to it here, are already hammered. In fact, they're still recovering, or some are just trying to recover. As we get down into this, whoops, that was a really bad area. As we get into this area, these areas were just hammered over the weekend. And many of them are going to be under it again on Wednesday. Again, nothing like we saw over the weekend, but there's going to be a threat for some tornadoes, some strong winds, some hail, those sorts of things as we get into Wednesday. Starting tomorrow, but I don't think it's going to be quite as bad tomorrow. But Wednesday, I think this is very underestimated. And then, as we talk about next weekend, you might remember last week the Storm Prediction Center on day 6 put out an advisory. And it was a blob for over the weekend beginning on Friday, and we looked at that and we talked about it leading up to it. We thought all hell was going to break loose. Then the Storm Prediction Center posted like a week out what was going to happen. Full agreement with us, and then obviously it happened, unfortunately. The death total is at least 40 people now, 40. Multiple tornadoes. They're still counting. When I just saw something on the NOAA site this morning, some conversation, and there was something they didn't think was a tornado that they're now confirming was a tornado, and it went from not a tornado to an EF2 tornado. There was at least 2 EF4 tornadoes, which are just devastating. There was at least 2 EF4 tornadoes, and they're suspect that there could be up to 5 EF4 tornadoes. Again, National Weather Service crews are out evaluating and assessing damage right now. But, friends, having said all of that, this is the Storm Prediction Center for day 7. This would be next Friday. No. Sunday? When would this be for? Hang on, I'm going to tell you. Give me a moment. This is going to be next Sunday. Next Sunday, Monday. This is day 7, friends. This is beyond what they posted last week for day 6. This is a day 7 advisory. And unfortunately, I'm in full agreement with this. This is going to happen. There's just no doubt about it. It is. We'll get into it some other time when I have more time. But this is going to be a big problem to end next weekend. We're going to notice that we have elements in place that are going to quite, mimic what we just saw this past weekend. Almost in the same location. And it all has to do with Russia. Should I just show that to you? All right, let me get some software up here. I'll show you what we're talking about. I will often tell you that when I look at systems, when I look at potential storms, I look out at the Gulf of Alaska. to see exactly what I'm looking at, to see what we're going to see ahead of time. So, this is the Gulf of Alaska. Right here. Here's the Gulf of Alaska. Here is the Canadian Pacific. Here's the Pacific Northwest. Here's California. And you can see the rest. So, what I look for are systems out in the Gulf of Alaska and then west, right? Well, out to the west, the last couple of weeks, it has been incredibly active. Now, normally, we don't see these systems develop, these things develop until they're in the Bering Sea, until they're in the Gulf of Alaska, and then they start making their way towards the mainland United States. But if we go out to the west here and we go over Russia, folks, look at this. Remember, the Earth is round, okay? The Earth is round. Here's, hold on, 1, 2, 3. There's a wave here that you can't see. That's 4. There's 5. There's 6. And there's 7, 8, and 9 farther to the west. Kazakhstan, Mongolia, Russia, all coming in this direction. This, I won't say it's unusual, but it is certainly not typical. It is not something that we tend to see often. It is something that is quite unusual to see that sort of activity and that far out and that persistent. So we're going to keep an eye on that. We're going to watch that. And but next weekend is the end. Next weekend, I am fearful, and for a couple of reasons. One, I think it's absolutely going to happen. But I also think that the National Weather Service and the Storm Prediction Center are greatly underestimating the possibilities for this on Wednesday. Now, this would normally get our attention, and it would normally cause us to focus on it and study it and watch it from the time we identify it till the time we get there and the event occurs. But this morning I've spent a lot of time focusing on these because we're going to be deploying this week to the plains and trying to figure out right now where else we're going to go. So we are certainly going to be going to Stillwater, Oklahoma, which is basically northeast-ish Oklahoma. God, let me throw you here real quick. Let's do this real fast. Not that. Okay, so this, friends, is the vorticity map, right, in the atmosphere. Here's where we are. So we see that system as it moves through today, right? There it goes. There it leaves. This is the next one. It's this fella right here. Hold on, I got to get a projector up here. It's this guy. This is the guy that's going to be causing the issue as it moves east. That's our next one. That looks like tomorrow, Wednesday. Tuesday, Wednesday. If we advance this is the GFS model. There's a very brief moment in time right here, Wednesday, that we see a pretty bona fide strong energy in the upper atmosphere. The question becomes what happens at the surface. And that is why there's some uncertainty. I think that is why the Storm Prediction Center is showing you this instead of a 2 or 3 or a 4. There's no yellow, there's no orange, there's no red, thankfully. But I don't know if that shouldn't be. I almost feel like there should be at least a level 2 on that. But I could be entirely wrong. Again, I've been looking at it all morning trying to figure that out and trying to see exactly what's going to happen with it. That's the GFS. That's the European. Look at the difference. GFS, European. The only difference here is the intensity. That is the European. That is the GFS. The GFS has a little bit stronger. If we go to the Canadian, look at this, friends. This is three different models. Look, Model 1, Model 2, Model 3. Let's go here. We'll add the icon too. They're almost identical. This happened this weekend with this system. As we got to Friday, they all started being in agreement. They're almost entirely, I mean, they're in agreement. That's the icon that you're looking at, okay? That's the Canadian that you're looking at. This has the low. Let's go this way. Let's go back to the icon. Here's the icon. The icon has the low. I'm just going to draw this line here. So here's the low, and here's the line. Okay, that's the icon. This is the Canadian. It has the low a little bit farther to the north and east. The American model has the low basically where the icon does. It has the line, same place. And then the European, same place, but weaker with the low a little farther to the north and east. Models don't agree with each other. They just don't. Now, these, in terms of location, are virtually identical. The difference is the timing, and the difference is the strength of this system. If we put this into motion and we show you what the European thinks it does, there's your intensity right there. That's your intensity as we get into later on Wednesday into Thursday, right? Including through our area. The question is there moisture with it? Will it get moisture? And then you've got this guy. Look at this on the southeastern and the mid-Atlantic coast. This is the American model. There's the American. There's the Euro. Look, there's the same horseshoe, if you will. The European, the GFS, the Canadian, the icon. This is something. It is very, very rare that models agree as close. Again, meteorologically speaking, these models, in terms of position and location and timing, are identical. Meteorologically speaking, there's some differences in strengthening, but they all believe it's going to get strength or become strong. They're just disagreeing when it becomes strong. Then, if we go back here, friends, and we look at this little fella. This is going to be a weather maker for us too. This guy. So as we move that out through, look, as you start getting into the weekend, that'll be a weather maker. But this, friends, is the guy that's going to come Sunday. This is the Sunday, Monday guy. This is the one that is already warned by the Storm Prediction Center. I cannot, I don't think, go far out. That far out. No. We try the GFS. Yes, here we go. So watch. Here we go. Here it comes. There we go. Let's get rid of that. This is the Sunday, Monday, folks, right here. Here comes Sunday, Monday. Up over the northern plains, starts diving down, dives way down, and that's why we get the severe weather. And this is why I believe they're calling for it, and why I would agree with them. Is because all of this cold air is going to trough down. We're going to have if we come back to today, well, let's do this. Let's do thermodynamics. We'll show you temperatures. Let's do shading, because it'll be easier to see. Let's go back to today. Here we are today, right? Little cooler today, up to the north, but relatively seasonable down here. As we go through, you'll notice that we get pretty warm. As we get into Sunday, let's fast forward this real quick. This is Sunday, friends. That is Sunday's temperatures. Very, 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 very warm. Hot, even. So as we progress the system through, see the cold air dive down? We can go back here to the Euro at the same time frame. We'll show you the moisture levels of that. And this is why that system is going to be so potent. See it fire up there? Because that's where we're meeting that cold air with the more mild air. that low comes through, becomes quite impressive. There's going to be a lot of energy with that as we get into here Sunday, Monday. We go back here, we can show you the vortices again. There's the vortices with it, pushing it through, diving down, and wrapping up. So what does it do? It could do anything. It could become a absolute beast like we just had over the weekend, though I don't expect that it would be quite as bad as this past weekend. But I'm not saying it couldn't be either. I don't think it would be worse. Could it be just as bad? Yeah, maybe. Unfortunately. Maybe. We'll have to watch. We'll have to keep an eye on it, and we'll see what happens. That said, I am trying to figure out where the hell we're going. Bennett Rambo is going to be going with me on this trip, which is great because this is going to be a very long trip. Being able to have two drivers is going to be fucking great. Means we can get a lot more driving in a day than having to stop and rest and whatever. We'll probably still, at one point, we're going to stop anyway. But we can drive for longer stretches is what I'm trying to say, with two drivers. It will also make the drive easier or better because you have someone to converse with. When are we leaving? Trying to figure that out. Where are we going? Trying to figure that out. We're definitely going to Stillwater, Oklahoma. Trying to look at Arkansas, Mississippi, Missouri, and there's somewhere else too, and I don't even know what my notes are right now. Trying to figure out where we're going to go. Are we going to stop at those places on the way to Stillwater, or hit Stillwater and hit those places on the way back? If there's places to stop at on the way back, and trying to map all that out, trying to figure out timing. We went to Oklahoma and Texas last February. That was like a, hold on, I'll tell you exactly what that was. That was, that was 3,391 miles. I did it by myself, and I did it in 80 hours, 79 and a half hours. So 80 hours I was able to do the Texas-Oklahoma trip by myself. So we should be able to do it in just as much time, if not less time, with two drivers. But we'll see. I remember when we drove out to Oklahoma, I didn't fucking stop. I think we drove straight out there. I didn't sleep for like 2 days. And then we stopped on the way back overnight at a hotel, and I slept, and I drove straight through back to Pennsylvania. So I'm thinking if I can do that by myself, I can definitely do that with somebody else. So I guess we're looking at 80-ish hours or less, with the caveat being if we're stopping at some other places on the way, it's going to affect the time, obviously. But we're looking at probably at least 3,300 miles. Likely more, again, depending if we're stopping at other places on the way to or from. My thinking, as I look at things this morning, is we get out to Oklahoma. That'll be our first stop. And then we'll stop at places on the way back, because then we'll have a better idea of time and where we are schedule-wise. That's going to be deployment 24. If I was smart, I would have sent the graphic to myself so I could show you the graphic. I don't have the graphic on here. I'll show it to you tomorrow. We'll make a post about it. We have been making posts about it. We have Amazon list posts up as well for the Bennett Box art kits and for the CARES kits. We need items for them. We're running out. Some items we've ran out of. We need to restock, so those are going to come up. If you'd like to donate, if you'd like to support this trip, this is going to be a long trip. I don't know if we're renting a vehicle yet. I don't know what we're doing vehicle-wise, so it's going to be probably one of our more costly deployments. So we could use your help if you'd like to. At the Weather on Venmo. If you're a company and want to sponsor it, let us know. We're going to be live a great deal of this deployment. There's two of us. So we'll actually be able to be live through most of it. We'll actually be able to have camera work going on and moving around. We might do some WYCELs during it. We might just do some random lives during it. Obviously, on a deployment, we'll do some definitely forkables through it. If your company would like to sponsor anything, please, 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 please message us. Message us. Please message us. We could use the sponsorships. We could use your support. We have money in the bank. We don't have enough money in the bank for this entire deployment, particularly if we have to rent a vehicle. We're working on it. We're trying to get sponsorships. We're trying to build up our bank account so we can keep it. We have some money coming, but it's not going to happen for a few weeks. We sold the truck that blew the motor. Company's buying that from us, but they're away for 2 or 3 weeks. We have a little bit of chunk of money still coming from the comedy show. We're waiting on that. That'll help. But we need your help. That's all. All right. That's all. I guess I should go through the comments. Hang on. All right. Good morning, everybody. Winnie, that's what happened. It's the pattern. We've been talking about this since like November, December. I told you this winter we would be in a pattern. And it would be a very common pattern: days of nothing, days of something, days of nothing, days of something, highs, lows, wet, dry. We've been talking about this since like last November, December, and it has played through. What has happened this winter is exactly what we've been talking about since fall. Is it common? I don't know if it's common, but it's not uncommon, if that makes sense. It happens. We get into weather patterns, and the patterns change. Sometimes you get into this type of pattern set up, and other times we get in different types of weather patterns, but that's just the pattern that we're in. I just lost the comments because I switched to a different video. Hold on, let me see if I can find other comments here. It's not rare, no. Scotty packs. I don't even know if we have Scott. I don't think we have anything for Scotty packs. I don't even know if we have a list up for Scotty packs. But we have pet food for the animals, so I don't care about the Scotty packs at the moment. If we can get them, awesome. Cares kits. I don't even know. I'm not even worried about any of that. I'm trying to figure out where the hell I'm going, how much it's going to cost, and see if we can do it when we get back, or when we can leave, so I know roughly how long it's going to take us. Like I said when I started this WYCEL, I'm already overwhelmed. I got here early this morning, started working on things and looking at things, and I'm just completely overwhelmed already. Um, Been researching shelter location, evacuation shelter locations. There's roads that are closed because of the fires. Obviously, the fires are an ongoing issue. They're going to fire up. They're going to get more intense later today, especially tomorrow and Wednesday. So there's all that to try and account for. It's going to be a very complicated deployment. It'll be a very long deployment. It's going to be very draining physically and probably emotionally as well. Deployment. So it's just, there's just a lot of moving parts to this deployment, trying to get it done, trying to figure it out. I know many of you already ordered from the Bennett Box Amazon list, and many of you have ordered from the Cares Kits Amazon list. I don't know if anyone's ordered from the Scotty Pack list. I have no idea. But if you've purchased anything off of any of the Amazon lists, thank you very, 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 very much. Tomorrow, all day here tomorrow. I will be here all day tomorrow, from early to late. If you want to come by and help organize things, help put some kits together, that would be awesome. You're all invited. If you don't know how to use Venmo and you want to make an in-person payment, stop by here tomorrow. Someone will be here. I think Julie's going to be here at some point tomorrow putting Bennett boxes together. I'm going to try and get see what arrives today and tomorrow, see what other kits we can put together. I got to figure out what other items we have to take that they need. It's just too fucking much, frankly. It's too fucking much. More people should be here. They can't be here, obviously. Not should be here. Could be, would be. It would be nice if more people could. That's what I'm trying to say. It would be nice if more people could be here. They just can't. And whatever. All right, look, there's your forecast. I will see you tomorrow.